He said, I felt it filling me, washing me, and he goes, I just knew God was real. Andrew Potter came to our internship, and he was I remember reviewing his application with our internship director, and she said, he's pretty much saying in his application that he's an atheist. Should we welcome him into the prayer and worship internship? And we prayed about it, and we felt like God said, yeah, he's meant to be here. So his parents had forced him to come, and when he's in the internship, the relationships of the people begin to soften his heart because he sees the sincere love of the believers, and he sees their desire for God, and he knows he doesn't have that. The more time I spent with him, I began to recognize, no, there's something real to this. And so as his heart opened, he found himself up in the upstairs prayer room of Gate City in Lawrenceville. And that upstairs prayer room is basically like a closet. It is not an enjoyable necessarily place to go worship, and everybody knows it. And so he's upstairs, and the Sunday morning set is always one of the most faithful, pure-hearted people, but they're not always necessarily the most musically gifted. And so the guy who's leading the set, I've been in his sets before, and he will occasionally sing off key, and he just kind of chords. But it was exactly what he needed, because the accusation in his mind was that people were responding in different moments to prayer and worship because they were having an emotional response to music. And the guy who's leading the worship set, though he's not musically gifted, has one of the most pure, beautiful hearts of faithful worship to Jesus. He just worships alone in that room. And as this guy is leading this worship set, the presence of God and the love of God begins to be poured out in his heart in no other way than can be described as supernatural. He said, I felt it filling me, washing me, and he goes, I just knew God was real. I knew that he loved me. And he said, I had that experience with God, and then I was blessed to be able to preach within a short period after that, and when I gave an invitation for people that want to commit their lives to Jesus or rededicate, he came forward in that moment, committed his life to Jesus. So glad we accepted him into the internship.